The digital world moves fast, but real growth comes from real conversations. This is e-Coffee with Experts, where marketers and founders share what's actually working in SEO, AI, and digital growth. Grab your coffee and fuel your mind as we chat with top minds about their wins, struggles, and lessons you won't find in a blog post. Brought to you by Digital Web Solutions, we bring real talk to help you grow your business, one episode at a time. Let's get started.
Hey, hi everyone. Welcome to your show E-Coffee with Experts. This is your host Ranmay here. And today we have Mark Eller, who is the Director of Marketing and Communications at Leave No Trace with us. Hey Mark, how is it going?
Hey, good. Thanks for having me today.
Lovely. Mark, before we move any forward, let's get to know more about you, the human behind the mic. What has been your journey thus far and how did you land up in the digital marketing space? And also more about Leave No Trace, because you guys are doing a lot of interesting work there. So we'd love our audiences to understand more about it, and then we'll take it forward from there.
Yeah, happy to go through some of the basics. I'll start with the organization that I work for. Leave No Trace is a 30-year-old environmental nonprofit, and we work with individuals and businesses, providing them with simple, actionable advice to be able to protect nature better, especially when people are outside enjoying nature. And that field of outdoor recreation is something that I've been doing for the past 20, 30 years now. I was a journalist for outdoor sports magazines, moved over to nonprofit communications. I worked with the International Mountain Bicycling Association for 10 years, and I've been at Leave No Trace for 10 years as well.
Lovely. Moving on, how different, is doing marketing for non-profit organizations? We keep hearing about all those Google grants, and all that stuff. But yeah, you tell me, on the ground, how different is it from all the other niches out there?
In some ways, I would say it's not different at all, but probably the main difference is that what we're selling is not a product. It's more of an idea and a feeling of belonging to an organization. And what attracts people to us isn't so much a quid pro quid, I pay you something and I get a product in return, but more the sense that they're contributing to the good of the natural world and helping people want to get involved and protect nature. So it's interesting to market something that is less product-based, more of a feeling of belonging. And as most nonprofits, it also usually comes with smaller marketing budgets. We have to do a lot with a little and make sure that we're using the members' dollars efficiently.
Absolutely. And, at Leave No Trace, like you mentioned, it's not really a product, it's an idea. So you're not just telling stories, you're moving people to act, donate, protect the planet, right? And again, which is really, really the thing to do in terms of, using marketing to motivate them, right? Or, using the setup to kind of motivate them. So what is your framework for building campaigns that connect emotionally and drive results?
Yeah, well, I definitely draw on my experiences in journalism. And outdoor sports magazines was a big part of what's shaped my sensibilities. At the end of the day, I guess I'm a content person more than anything else. I feel like compelling content is the best tool that we have, especially when we don't have access to huge ad budgets and big spends on glitzy campaigns. We've worked with agencies, we've worked with very high-level agencies, but those are things we have to do kind of sparingly. And I think the main thing that I focus on is making sure that when people come to us, they find quality information and content that's going to inspire them to want to do more.
Lovely. And you have been in this, setup for quite some time in this niche. And you obviously must have seen a lot of other nonprofits as well. So what do you think, are the common, if I can put it this way, the mistakes or, things that probably have not been done right, by nonprofits and which you feel, can be avoided?
Yeah, I have a couple of thoughts about that. One of the main ones, I think that we all have made this mistake, I know I've made it at times in the past, is to forget about the core audience that got your organization to where it is, because we're always, as marketers, thinking about new audiences, right? How do we expand our demographic? How do we get new people interested? But you have to make sure that the people that got you to where you are as an organization don't feel ignored as you chase those new audiences. I'll give you an example. When I was with IMBA, the International Mountain Bicycling Association, we were sort of founded from a bunch of men and women that like to explore natural areas on their bikes, and they formed IMBA and did amazing things to gain bike access on trails. Well, flash forward another 20, 30 years, and there's a whole new generation of riders that's interested in some different things, dirt jumps and bike parks, and that's exciting because you're seeing new people that want to support the movement. But we felt at times people who were the original kind of founding voices felt like they were being ignored as we pursued these new audiences. So you really have to remind yourself, I think, periodically, are the people that got you to where you are still feeling served? It's necessary and healthy to expand your audience, but you need to pay attention to who got you to where you are.
Absolutely. And, talking about audiences, how do you kind of curate the, compelling content which kind of resonates with the audience and also, kind of puts the brand voice the way it should be?
Yeah, it's a fun challenge. I think that's, for me professionally, what has kept me interested in this type of work, in that the audiences that we talk to are very discerning, and they really know and are passionate about things like outdoor sports and protecting nature. So you need to have high quality content that doesn't talk down to your audience, but at the same time, it needs to be accessible to somebody who's new. And those two things can be hard to blend. Sometimes you get so focused on serving the very sophisticated folks that are part of your audience that you start using insider terminology, and you can sound exclusionary to newer folks. So you really have to constantly ask yourself, is this accessible to somebody new and still interesting to somebody who's quite familiar with the work?
Absolutely. And you yourself have worked with both legacy print and modern digital, right? So as for you, what is that one timeless principle from your magazine days that still holds true in today's digital landscape? And this is for the, the Gen Zs of today's world, who thinks like, marketing is born, with all this AI storm and everything. Yeah. With all due respect, sorry guys, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a good one too. And I guess I would say from journalism, you're taught from an early time, well, one, get the name right, but second, to don't bury the lead for your story. So, you need to get to a pretty direct explanation of what you want the reader to understand. We all have a tendency to maybe want to ramble on a bit and set up the story and have this beautiful introduction that sometimes is just wasted space and words. So an example would be like if I'm composing a fundraising letter, I would want to tell the reader what I'm asking for. Something like, we're looking to raise $50,000 to create an online learning center. I would say that in the first sentence or two, as opposed to the wonders of online learning, and this is an amazing field that we're in, and blah, blah, blah. If the point is to ask for a donation, tell them what the donation is for, tell them how much you're trying to raise, and why that's going to be an effective use of their dollars, and don't bury that information deep in the story.
Absolutely. Good one there, I must say. So Mark, talking about, since we touched upon, a bit, so what do you think, how do you feel rather the role of automation or tech play in your campaigns? You have seen it all. Enough summers and winters in the industry and many Google updates as well. How do you think, automation and machine learning prior to all of this AI storm or tech large play in your campaigns? And if you may add to this, what is the best use of AI that you're making as of today in your overall marketing projects?
Yeah, I certainly feel like if you're not playing with AI and generative capacities right now, you're ignoring something that is probably going to cause you trouble for not being on top of that, because it's expanding so fast and people are excited about it. I've always felt like for companies, for profit or nonprofit, you need to be able to keep up with the technology that's available. It's easy for all of us to get stuck in what we know works, but ignore what might work better. So my example for what might work better right now, I just recently started using generative AI for grant proposals. If there's ever been a form of writing that lends itself to machine learning and being able to increase your productivity, I think grant writing might be it. Tends to be very repetitive, and you need to be able to put as many hooks in the water as possible to be able to land some grants. So I'm really excited about the possibilities of using generative AI to just get more grant proposals out there and hopefully further my organization's needs that way.
Lovely, lovely. Great point there. Perfect, yeah, Mark. This has been a great interaction. But before we let you go, for our young listeners today, I mean, in particular, right, what is a piece of advice you'd want to give, let's say, if they're starting out on their own entrepreneurial journey or trying to make a mark in the digital marketing niche in particular?
Yeah, I heard a line from the great comedian Steve Martin that I liked on this topic, which he said when he was starting off in comedy and everybody is saying this is a terrible career choice, why are you doing something so hard? His motto for himself became, be so good that they can't ignore you. And I would say a young marketer has to adapt a similar mentality. Marketing has become kind of a fashionable career trend. There's a lot of people that call themselves storytellers and marketers. So how do you succeed in a crowded marketplace? Be so good they can't ignore you. And that would involve, I think, being up on the current technology trends, being able to produce content that people find compelling, and not being shy about sharing your successes so that other folks have a chance to discover you and your talents.
I just loved it when you said, and this is like pretty old school, when you say, just be good at what you do, sort of a thing, right? And everything else will be kind of taken care of if you're good at what you do, irrespective of what you're kind of venturing out for.
Yeah, believe in yourself. And the way to believe in yourself is to know that you've done your homework, you've learned the skills, you've talked to the experts, and you are confident that you're well equipped to serve a company, an organization, or yourself if you're going out as a freelancer. But you have skills and you have belief in yourself, and that confidence will come through to others.
Lovely. Great, yeah. Thank you so much for the insights, Mark. I'm sure our audience would love to hear and resonate with a lot that you said. So thank you so much once again for taking out time to do this with us. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate you asking me some great questions, and I hope people find it useful.
Lovely. Thank you.